I got some keys, black and white, and a drum loop, running circles round a neck full of screws loose. I'm a human, I'm not perfect, was a youth. All I wanted was the truth, worth stuck inside a noose, love. Starved, every day the skin and bones, wrapped up in a coffin through the speakers with the tones blown bleaker.
Hi, welcome back to Scentuality. Today I have another fragrance review. This one is Irish Leather by Memo. This is a unisex leather fragrance and it was launched in 2013. And the perfumer is, and let's see if I can pronounce this correctly, Elena Massenet, or possibly Elena Massenet. Forgive me if I've completely butchered that name. So this perfume has an aromatic accord, it has a leather accord, a fresh and spicy accord, a woody accord, an animalic accord, and an amber accord. What I would say about this perfume is the dry down of it is very masculine, I find, but the opening of the perfume, the leather aspect of it, I find quite feminine. It basically makes me picture a young girl, a young lady wearing a leather jacket, smoking a cigarette with the reddest of lipstick on. That's basically the image that I get. I don't get anything to do with Ireland. I've lived in Ireland myself, but I guess this is a very personal perfume to the perfumer. So that's the kind of imagery that I get. Now the lipstick facet, the perfume itself, it has a very powdery texture, and I guess that's from the iris, and that's probably why I feel like the leather accord is a little bit more feminine. Now the thing that I do like about this perfume, I don't like it on the whole, but I really like the dry down, and basically if you like the dry down of Bleu de Chanel, this is basically the same dry down. Now this was quite insightful for me because I first smelled Bleu de Chanel just a couple of weeks ago, and what I liked about Bleu de Chanel was the dry down, and I couldn't put my finger on the note, my favorite note about Bleu de Chanel. It seems to be something in the base merging with something from the top or the heart, and I asked in the base notes forum if anybody knew what this was. Some people seem to think it could possibly be a galbanum molecule from the top merging with Veramos in the base. I tried some Galbex 183 and that didn't quite do it. But what I have realized that this perfume and Bleu de Chanel have in common is Artemisia. They both have that, the top note Artemisia, and smelling some Artemisia, I think that I've hit the nail on the head, and I think it's Artemisia and it's merging with something in the base. I'm not quite sure if I require all of the different notes that are in Bleu de Chanel. You've got the cedar, you've got the vetiver, you've got moss, etc. But what I have noticed is this perfume has the same dry down, and I think because another oil that they both share in common is clary sage. And you know, as soon as I read that they both had clary sage in there, I immediately smelled clary sage within this note that I like, this accord that you find in the base of both of these perfumes, and it's just beautiful. I really love the base. However, I'm not mad on this perfume. It's great. I mean, I sprayed this hours ago and it's still going. I sprayed it on my skin yesterday and I really didn't like it. It's really sharp on my skin. It's a very realistic leather fragrance. It's not like I make perfume, if you're watching and you're unaware of that. So I have a leather base from the Perfumer's world, and that is a very I would say like a mainstream type of a leather. It's very user friendly in terms of making a fragrance, and it leans more towards castoreum. It really does have a very sort of smooth castoreum smell, whereas this has a much dirtier feel to it, and it's much more realistic. And I guess you have to really like leather to appreciate this perfume. and you have to own some leather clothing, because I think, to me, this is for like a die-hard leather fan. But the leather accord does kind of break down, and what you're left with is the same notes that you find in Bleu de Chanel. But it's an interesting fragrance. I really do admire the fact that it is representing leather, yeah, I admire it in that context. I admire it from the standpoint of you know, making perfume myself. But this isn't something I buy. It's not something I wear myself. It's not something that I like the smell of. I would much rather wear a leather jacket. What else can I say about this fragrance? I said it was sharp. It's quite heavy, I would say. There's a lot of heavy notes in there, and I would say that the perfume is quite a dense perfume. It just basically has naturals listed on the description of the notes of the perfume, but I'm sure there's a lot of synthetics in there as well. But yeah, it's a very interesting fragrance. If you really like leather, I would imagine you'd really like this fragrance. But in regards to it being unisex, I don't know if more men would like it or if more women would like it. I can't imagine women would like the dry down of it, unless they like the dry down of Bleu de Chanel, because it does smell extremely similar. But I guess what this one has going for it is the iris, and it gives a powderiness, which to me I associate with more feminine fragrances. But yeah, it's not my favorite, not something that I would wear. I think this perfume is quite expensive, really. I think you can get 75 milliliters for around 300 euros. And I have seen it for like 400, I'm sure, somewhere. So for me, this is like way out there price-wise. I personally would never spend this amount of money on a perfume. So I definitely wouldn't sell a perfume for this amount of money. But yeah, if leather is your thing, then check this one out. It does smell quite divine. You can really appreciate it in the right context on a smelling strip. You can you know, really appreciate the concept of it all. But you know, you spray it on your skin, it's a completely different ball game. It doesn't smell good on my skin. The dry down smells good, but for a while it just does not smell good. It's really, I don't know what the best adjective is for me to describe the smell on my skin, but I would say it was invasive. It's very abrupt, and I think that it's kind of like it doesn't feel welcome on my skin. It's uninvited, if you will, and I really don't enjoy it personally. But maybe you are one of the ones who love this fragrance, and that's the great thing about fragrances. That's the great thing about perfumery. It's all subjective. We all like different things. What somebody likes, another person hates, vice versa. So you know, that's the great thing about perfume. So that's all I've got time for today, but I've got a lot of perfumes to you know, smell and then make videos and talk about them. I will say I don't buy perfumes per se. I just have acquired lots of samples of different perfumes. So it's not like I've got a lot of money and I'm just spending it on, you know, 100 milliliter bottles of perfume that I've never smelled before. I'm basically just testing perfumes. And I personally wouldn't spend this money on any perfume. I don't really believe in the really high markup of perfume, and the reason why is because I make it myself. So I'm used to using these materials that are used in perfumery, and I'm obviously aware that there's a massive profit margin in perfume. But yeah, sorry for going off there a little bit. If you like this video and you would like to see more content from me in this regard, then just let me know. It really does help me know whether I'm wasting my time or not. But I will say this is a really good exercise for me, and I'm really enjoying it because I really want to work towards the place where I sell a few of my fragrances, and getting a little bit of insight into what is out there does give me the contrast that I need to clarify my own perfumery. So I really am getting something from this, but I still would appreciate knowing if you do as well. So that's all I have time for today. As always, have fun making perfume, and I'll be back again shortly.